Last time on Let's Build a House, we finished a couple significant tasks. We called our excavator and took time to complete the township-required storm basin. We also set our 1,000-gallon propane tank to allow us to get heat into the house, and we surprised Amy with finished drywall. This episode, we paint the entire house with a primer, and we officially start building the porch. Luckily, we have a little help from friends and family. Let's build a house. With the tape and sanding complete, the drywall is ready for a fresh coat of paint. To do this, I called an old friend of mine to help me put the first coat of paint on the house. John and I grew up together, and he owns a painting company now. Who better to call? Our game plan was to paint the ceilings heavy. We didn't want to have to come back for a second coat on the ceiling. But for the walls, we plan on using a paint sprayer to help speed things up. The spray gun was a massive addition to the job. The spray gun uses compressed air and a fine nozzle to spray the paint in a controlled pattern. John and I kind of got into a good system. I would spray throughout the room, keeping the paint spray from electrical units and the dirty floor, and John would come in behind me with the roller. We started on the second floor and worked from the bedrooms down the hallway and into the master. Painting the master ceiling was fun. I didn't realize how high the ceiling was and how much surface area. We had to use ladders and extended the roller to get every corner. After the master, we worked our ways downstairs and into the living room. Before starting the garage, I got a call from my friend Phil, the best man in our wedding. He was in the area and wanted to put in a day helping with the house. What's great about Phil is he has a daughter, one on the way, a full-time job, in the middle of a frustrating house search, and has about 6 minutes of construction experience. But with all that going on, he still called me asking to see how he could help with the house, and jumped right on the end of a roller. In a matter of 3 hours, we worked our way around the entire garage. Sometimes in construction, things can get repetitious and dull, but it's so much easier and more fun when you're surrounded by good friends. Kind of like life. My whole life, Smitty has kind of preached to me the value of waking up every day and working hard. But that doesn't mean working every day in the cold weather and wind is necessarily a blast. I think starting to frame this deck was the first time that we felt like we needed a pick-me-up. And boy did we get one. Amy's dad, Rich, her brother, Nikki, and her cousins, John and Josh, came from upstate New York and Georgia to give us a hand on the porch. Smitty and I went from considering feeling sorry for ourselves to running up our tab at Home Depot.
20, 21, 24, 25, 26, 27, 18 more. If there's a faster way, let me know, but And now I'm starting to want, these are $2 each. Now I'm like, man, was it 49 or 50?
You gotta click that thing 50 times.
All right. There we go.
Mission accomplished.
Having these guys here for close to a week is a massive help, but sometimes extra help creates some challenges. Being efficient with varying skill levels and attention to safety isn't always easy. So in order to get this deck framed and shingled, we had to organize our efforts. We started the deck by installing the 2x12 beams. John was our cut man, and Nick and Josh moved all the material to its proper location around the deck. Once all the beams were nailed in place, John came through, pre-drilled the holes, and Nicky bolted the beams to every post.
Let's go, Nick.
Once the beams were complete, we teamed up again to install the 2x4 ledger strip on the ledger board. This will help support the floor joists. With the beams and ledger strips properly installed, it's time to run our floor joists. Next, Rich went down the entire deck with a saw and created a slit for the metal flashing to fit in. Then, Nicky and I cut and bent the metal that we used for flashing and installed it over the ledger board. Our last step to finish the frame of the deck was to add all the extra blocking for the composite decking. Amy wants the decking to be boardwalk style, which means the decking will run parallel with the joists. We need to add the blocking so we have something to nail the decking to. This was a perfect task for our group. Pretty simple, but close to 400 extra blocks. With everybody here, we completed the frame in 2 days. This would have taken Smitty and I at least a week. The last step will be fastening the composite deck at a later date, but the hard work is complete. Amy and I are pumped. Our original plan was to use raised seam metal on the entire porch roof, but after some good conversation with Smitty, Amy and I decided we wanted to save the money and only use metal on the front of the porch. It's almost impossible to see this roof from the backyard, and I'll be honest, there was a conversation about our kids walking on this one day and ruining the expensive metal. But with our helpers still here, we had another great opportunity to get some more volume work completed. When Amy and I bought the land to start this project 18 months ago, there were a ton of things that we knew for certain. We expected to work hard and stay focused. We expected to learn the details of how to build a house, and we expected that keeping a budget would be a constant source of stress. Along the way, there were also surprises. The amount of time it took to get a building permit, the continual rise of the price of lumber, and the overwhelming amount of people that have helped with this project. Every corner I look, I see the fingerprints of family, hardworking tradesmen, and friends that I've known my whole life. I had expected there would be joy from building our own house. I'm realizing now the joy comes from who we've built it with. Let's build a house.
Next time on Let's Build a House.
Tapping with my fingers.